In 2017, I made a horrendously clickbaity video about Marcus Smart. Despite my artistic excess in making that video, the points I made in it were insightful and, as time has shown, essentially correct. To recap that video, I argued that video footage that had emerged that summer revealed that Smart had made two changes to his shooting technique. Significantly, he had changed the location of his set point, lowering it from a high set point to a more mid-level set point. Whereas his old set point was high above his head, his new set point was a bit lower, closer to the top of his forehead. It was also further forward, a necessity given the fact that by lowering the set point, the ball would interfere with the top of his head. So he'd brought the set point further forward to an area just in front of the top of his forehead. Another change was that Smart improved his release timing. In old footage of him shooting three-pointers, he released the ball at the peak of his large jump off the ground. In the new footage from 2017, he'd clearly eliminated this large pre-release elevation off the ground. Instead, he was utilizing the benefit of performing the post-set point push with his arms while simultaneously pushing off the ground with his legs. In 2017, I predicted that these two changes would lead to greater consistency in Smart's three-point shooting. I even ominously predicted that he would become a sharp shooter, hence this dramatic thumbnail. So, 3 years later, how has my analysis held up? Well, the answer is I was pretty much right, minus some excessive optimism. That season, across 2016 and 2017, Smart was shooting a truly horrendous, abysmal 28% from three on just over 4 attempts per game. The season after this technique change, Smart's percentage increased slightly to 30%. And then the year after that, it jumped precipitously to a respectable 36%, again on just over 4 attempts per game. And this past season, which has been cut short so far, he was shooting slightly lower than 35% on a much higher volume of 7 attempts per game. That brought him right around league average, which is a huge improvement from his 2016-2017 season. Okay, so Smart never became a Klay Thompson-esque 40+% three-point shooter, but he did hugely increase his percentage and his attempts per game. I have no doubt that his technique changes to his set point and his release timing contributed most of the impetus to this change, along with a lot of hard work in the gym. The importance of having efficient release timing has been covered many times on this channel, so I encourage you to take a look around after this video if you don't know what I'm talking about. With regards to the lower set point, I am sure of its contribution to Smart's improvement because we've seen the exact same pattern with several other players. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend you watch my video about how Kawhi made the same changes with an even better result earlier in his career. That video breaks down the physics of the change in technique to a lower, more forwardly located set point. So what's the takeaway from this video? Well, first of all, whoever convinced Smart to make these changes has earned him tens of millions of dollars in additional career earnings. Because the respectable three-point shooting Smart we see today is a hell of a lot more valuable than the terrible shooter we watched 3 years ago. So whoever you are, anonymous shooting coach, you deserve a huge shout out.
All of them, actually. Every shot I take, I feel comfortable with now. Even more comfortable than I did in the past.
Having said that, I think Smart would actually benefit from a further lowering of his set point. But short of him hiring me as his shooting coach, that's probably not going to happen. Second, if you're somebody with a higher set point, you should think about mimicking this change. If you're curious, again, you should watch the video I made on Kawhi's technique change. And finally, if you're someone with mid to late release timing, you should think about mimicking Smart's timing change. Maybe you're a decent or even a good shooter as you are, but imagine what you could be if you made this slight adjustment, given the evidence I've presented here and in the old video and in my other breakdowns. More power and consistency from three-point range is well within reach. With the way the game is trending toward an emphasis on range and analytical efficiency, why not reach out and grab those benefits for yourself?